Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at Decentraland, Mana. And just before we do, peeking over at Bitcoin, kind of see what's going on here. You can kind of see same old pattern, just a different day, right? We got these green candles immediately following these steep drop-offs, right? That happens on the downswing where we always get that first day from recovery, trying to buy the dip essentially, and it just keeps going down lower. So we might see a dead cat, we might not. The price may continue to progress sideways or upwards soon, but what I'm thinking is going to happen over the weekends, we'll probably see a couple of green candles. Monday might be a correction once more, and then at that point we should have the bottom established. I don't feel, or I do feel rather, the price will not go any lower than somewhere in the range of just say 52, 53,000. That's right around the strongest support channel we have. So I think we're going to be okay in that sense. So feel free to continue to dollar cost average Bitcoin and Ethereum right now, and then of course your altcoins, buy some of those dips as well if you can, but just don't invest every last penny you have in one thing. Okay, just diversify. It's important you don't spread yourself too thin, right? So that's kind of where Bitcoin's at right now. Not terrible, just it is what it is, right? It's kind of the way it goes. Now, just before we look at Bitcoin, just before we look at Mana, I want you to understand I'm not a financial advisor. This is for educational purposes only. Make sure that you understand that. But the key takeaway here is that I'm not a not being a financial advisor is one thing, but I love teaching and helping people become better traders is another, right? So that's my goal, my sentiment here. So if you're new to the channel, hopefully you can learn something here today. Consider joining my Patreon community on the 1st of December. Spots will be available at that point, or further spots, of course. We're kind of maxed out for the month at the moment. Now, take a look here at Mana. Let's just look at the obvious, right? We'll look at the one-day chart first. Both moving averages are trailing behind because the price action increased too quick. We also have the price kind of trending right above, right below 70 on the RSI. Okay. Now this is a good thing in a lot of ways because it's still considered to be, higher than 50, right? We want it to be considered overbought in a sense so it can continue upwards. But that just basically reiterates the fact that we do have a strong resistance right around $4.90, which is a previous one-day candlestick high. Okay. So keep that in mind. That was a previous all-time high. So previous all-time highs have a tendency of being really strong support or really strong resistance levels. It obviously lost its support yesterday based on what happened with Black Friday and Bitcoin, but today it does look like it's recovering nicely. We might see a push to the upside here with Mana fairly soon. But all in all, I like what I see here so far. There's nothing that's really negative per se on the one day. One thing that's really awesome, speaking of opposite of negative, right? We're looking at some really positive stuff here. The 50-day sub-moving average is holding strong. In other words, the price came down and bounced off that right at the same exact support at 432. So 432 reaffirmed itself as a strong support level. You can see it was hit twice. And of course, price is kind of rejecting out right now at 490. So we got a range between 432 and 490 as a potential, consolidation stage, right? So we could very well see the price go sideways between those two areas. And then, of course, bounce to the upside or perhaps break to the downside. We don't know just yet, but the key takeaway here is that we do have the price trending still above 50 on the RSI. This is a good sign. It's effectively working as a support level concurrent with 432. We also have okay, it's a stretch, but there is a potential MACD convergence in the near future, right? So we got pushed down a little bit further, but this can come back up. Obviously, we'll see that push to the upside where the 12 intersects with the 26 in upward fashion, shifting that momentum from bearish to bullish and giving us a really strong confirmation that we want to take a long signal to the upside. That hasn't happened yet, so don't get your hopes up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Ishimoku cloud. Also below the cloud, not a great sign. Not as necessarily a bad sign, but the cloud is notoriously a very strong resistance level. And it's, even though the conversion line just passed above the baseline, that is a good indication of a buy signal. And the fact that we had a bounce off 432, we're still not out of the woods yet. We need to break that, what is that, $5.11, which is the Ishimoku cloud lead 2. It's basically the top lead there. So that is kind of where we're at. So again, it's trending towards a positive, transition, right? We're looking like we might have a MACD convergence in the next 24 hours. We're looking like we have a breakthrough above the cloud on the 1 hour, but we don't have that yet. Okay, that's where premature, getting in too early is a problem sometimes. Don't get me wrong. You're going to dollar cost average, and this is a coin you want to invest in. Go for it right now. Perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It has momentum. It feels like it's shifting back to the bullish side. It's just that we're not there yet. And me, I prefer to take only entry when I have that firm confirmation, knowing that the bulls are in complete control and we have some room for progression. We have, more than just one or two indicators giving us a buy signal. I like to have 5, 6, 7, 8 indicators give me a buy signals, 2 or 3 per time frame. That's perfect. That's what we look for. And I usually really try to focus on that as my foundation for sending out signals to my community, but also more importantly, just these are trades that I take too, right? I like to trade at a very high success rate, and I take profits when I can. So don't get too greedy. You can't do that with these type of coins. Believe it or not, some of them do allow you to get kind of greedy, but it's partial luck too in that case, right? You want to always work within Fibonacci retracement levels. So if you're going to consider, just say, taking a position right now, for example, make sure that you set your profit target just below the next major retracement line, right? So don't just set your profit target at $6 here. Go with $5.90 instead, because it already hit $5.92 and rejected if that makes sense, right? So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Just some pointers. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at TD sequential. We got a reset here. So again, just reiterating the fact that we're in a consolidation period. We don't have anything really to note there. I forgot to look on the 4-hour. Let's see. We got, again, a reset as well. Bounce off a 7 and right back over to a 2. So none of that really matters. Basically just means that we kind of have this neutral sideways action going on with Mana. We are likely going to see the price continue between 432 and its current resistance at 495. If it breaks that resistance plane and closes on a one-day candlestick above 495, we can consider it bullish within reason, right? We still want to look at some of these other indicators, but in general, we can, that is a determining factor for me for the most part. That's like check number 1 off the box to make sure that the one-day candlestick close is above a specific resistance level. And the reason why that's relevant is because you think about it, it spent most of that full trading day above that level, right? So when you close above a major resistance level, that's important, it becomes a support, and you can kind of buy the dip in that sense, right? So that's kind of where we're at. So, okay, so best case scenario, because I know you all like to hear this, I would say in the next 2 weeks, because it's taken roughly 2 weeks to get to this point, Mana has grown approximately 112% in 2 weeks. Therefore, we could see that same distance, so to speak, upwards of about between $9 and $9.30. So $9 and or $10. So between $9 and $10 would be a best case scenario for the next 2 weeks for Mana. That is essentially a better case scenario. But again, we still got to break this resistance level. And we also have to break that all-time high. And what we're looking for, if the all-time high is broken, keep in mind it's very common the price comes up, comes back down to test it. And based on how it responds to the support level and continues up, that's the confirmation we're looking for. Okay, so pay attention to that if and when that happens. I don't expect that it's going to happen very, very soon just because we don't have a tremendous buy signal just yet, but things do change quickly with these coins. So I'll take another look at this here again tomorrow. Appreciate you joining me here today. We'll look forward to seeing the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.